November 1967. An artillery crew is airlifted into a fire support base near enemy lines. Within hours, they are outnumbered 42 against 1,500. This is the story of Medal of Honor recipient Sammy L. Davis. Davis was born in 1945 in Indiana and grew up in a sleepy farm community. After seeing a Medal of Honor ceremony on TV, he decided to become a soldier. His father, who had served in World War II, inspired Davis to join the army. Davis wanted to make his own mark on history for the family. Sammy enlisted as an artilleryman and requested to be sent to Viet Cong. Once training was complete, he was deployed and found himself amidst total war. Private First Class Sammy L. Davis served with Battery C, 2nd Battalion, 4th Artillery Regiment, 9th Infantry Division. Their primary role was to provide close and continuous fire support to infantry on the ground. Davis operated a howitzer, which typically took a crew of soldiers to function. These weapons could be crewed by as many as 11 people. On November 1st, 1967, Davis and his crew were airlifted by helicopter into a remote fire base and immediately began fire operations, which lasted nearly the entire day. They were soon notified of an impending attack by enemy forces and to prepare themselves. It was 42 men against 1,500. Would Davis and his crew survive the night? As the sun went down, it began. The attack began with wave upon wave of enemy troops charging their position in a fierce, all-out ground assault of the base. Davis and his crew began firing. The enemy locked onto their position and shot the artillery piece they were operating, blasting the crew from their positions, incapacitating them. During the crossfire, Sergeant Davis took fire from another howitzer and was knocked unconscious. He had been hit by over a dozen pellets from the artillery that pierced his back, his life spared only by the flak jacket he was wearing. He came to and kept on fighting. Davis fired his M16 until he ran out, then crawled back to his howitzer, operating on his own, firing once, then again, and again, driving back the enemy. Davis saw stranded American soldiers across the river hiding in a foxhole. Despite his grievous wounds, he crawled across and used a mattress to float the river. Davis stood up and shot into the dense jungle, providing suppressive fire, and helping all 3 soldiers escape back across the river. Even after these heroics and his grievous injuries, David had enough fight left to rejoin another artillery crew and attack him. They continued their fire until the enemy withdrew. The base was saved. Of the 42 that started the night at the firebase, only 12 survived. They held their ground until aid arrived. When Davis learned he was to be sent home due to his injuries, he asked to stay and serve in Vietnam. Despite his best efforts to remain in the field, Davis was ultimately pulled due to his extensive injuries. He continued his service in food and logistics, and later retired from military service in 1984 due to his injuries. Davis was promoted to sergeant and received the Medal of Honor from President Lyndon B. Johnson the following year. After the ceremony, Davis played the song you hear now, "O Shenandoah," to honor those with whom he served in Vietnam and those who didn't return. Sammy L. Davis's courage and heroism on the battlefield have served as an example of true patriotism and courage in the face of danger.